classes, first of all, I don't really like to lecture, talk, teach, whatever, to a document like this because it doesn't have pages and easy to go with. So I'll keep going back and forth. I like
You can always draw stick figures.
Yeah. I usually prefer PowerPoint because then I can page back and forth. All right, so we've already done some object-oriented stuff, but in here we're going to kind of go through some details of how you create classes. For this next little bit, well, actually, so we'll start here with the bicycle class, which I just happen to have. Which I happen to have here. I copied it over. So I'll just point out some of the features features of the class. It might not be in the same order they do in the tutorial, but basically it's public. You can specify different access levels for classes. It's got some more advanced, there are more advanced reasons to do this, but most of the time, almost always it's a public class. So public class bicycle, open and close squiggly as they match. So this bicycle class has 3 fields. I left the example exactly the way it is on the tutorial website, even though this is awful, because they made their data members public. So normally you would not want to do that. But here I have 3 fields. So for a bicycle, it has a cadence, a gear, and a speed. They're all integers. Then we have 5 methods. One of them is a special method. It's the constructor. And you can tell it's a constructor because it's the same name as the class and it does not have a return type. It's a public constructor and it takes 3 arguments. It doesn't have to take any. In this case, it just takes 3 arguments to give you a starting value for the cadence, the gear, and the speed. And then it sets them inside the constructor. Sets all things to the initial values. That's the constructor, fairly simple. Then we have 4 other methods: set, cadence, set gear, apply brake, and speed up. With set cadence, you pass in a new value and you just set that in. This is what we also, last week, we referred to this as a setter. Set gear, same thing, it's a setter. It doesn't do anything to check, which is a little bit weak, right? You'd want to check to make sure you weren't setting it to like gear 100 or something that is out of range. Apply brake takes a decrement amount and it subtracts that from the speed. Again, there's a little bit of checking here. This allows you to go in reverse because it doesn't check to make sure your speed's 0. So you can end up with negative speeds. And then speed up is the opposite of this. Yes?
So the start gear, start cadence, start speed, are those defined somewhere, or does that mean 0 in the constructor? Start gear, start cadence, and start speed?
Start gear, start cadence, start speed are just local, they're parameters that are passed in. They're arguments, like this is a function. See, they're defined here.
So you don't need to define them anywhere else?
No,
0?
no, and there's no special name. I mean, that could be Bob, Joe, and Sue.
Okay, so you're just saying set them to something,
right.
Basically. Okay.
Yeah, and then.
And in Java, when you declare the members, you're not actually declaring an object. The object's not created until you set it to something.
Yes, that's true. But these are actually primitive types. They're not object types.
Oh, right.
But absolutely true. If these were object types, then that would be true. Okay, now, so to kind of finish out what you're saying there, Damon, if you had a new bicycle object, sorry, can't spell bicycle, B equals, in your code somewhere else, you would say new bicycle, and then you would have to pass the 3 values. 1, 2, 3. And what that ends up doing out here when we make a new bicycle object is it calls this constructor and passes 1, 2, 3 in. And so that start cadence is 1, so we copy start cadence over to cadence. And then speed over and so on.
And then if you didn't put that argument past bicycle, then it wouldn't be anything at that point, right? You'd have to.
It wouldn't compile.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If I didn't have these arguments, it wouldn't compile at all because it would say bicycle. I need a constructor that takes no arguments. Oh, there isn't one.
Okay.
And so it would fail.
So it's almost exactly like pointer syntax for C++ on those constructor syntax.
What do you mean?
Like
you
if
mean like
this was-
new? Yeah.
Like if this was C++, you would say
Mhm.
bicycle star B equals
Mhm.
bicycle, exactly the same.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Exactly. Okay. Now, that's our simple bicycle class. Back here talks a little bit about it. I'm gonna skip past that because we already talked about it. We're gonna make a mountain bike. A mountain bike is a subclass of bicycle. That is, it's a specialization of a bicycle. It's got some extra features. So I also have one of those. And the mountain bike has, well, first of all, it's a public class again, mountain bike, and it has this extra word here, extends bicycle. This is how we do inheritance in Java. It extends bicycle, which means it takes the bicycle class and extends it, either adds more data or adds more methods. And so, in this case, we extend the bicycle class. It has one additional field called seat height. Apparently, if you're not a mountain bike, you don't have a seat height adjustment. Then the constructor here is interesting because the constructor still takes the start height plus the cadence, speed, and start gear. So it still takes 4 items in. And this constructor passes cadence, speed, and gear, those start values, up to the base class through this special function or special keyword called super. And that means superstance is a shortened form of superclass, which is like parent class or something. So this is saying call the constructor for the superclass with these parameters. And then after that's done, then it sets the height, seat height, start height. I'll talk a little bit more about this in a second, the constructor. I want to point out one method has set height, which is a setter for the seat height. So it's just added method. So now what happens is mountain bike, as an object, if I have a mountain bike object, how many data fields do I have?
4.
Yeah, 4. That's right, I have 4. I inherited 3 from bicycle, and then I get one more. I added one more myself in the derived class. And so the same thing with the methods. All the methods from bicycle are available, or are actually a part of my object, as well as the new one I added here.
Even private method?
No, not the privates. I'm just pretending that doesn't happen. But yeah, the private stuff does not. Private methods do not get inherited. So, I said I've talked about the constructor a little bit more. Let me talk about that now. My object, my mountain bike object, this is the mountain bike, actually looks like a mountain bike with a bicycle inside it. This is just for the data. So I've got my cadence, my speed, and my gear, and then I guess I'll do it this way. Mountain bike adds a height. So because mountain bike extends bicycle, it adds to it, so we get this. Now, if I didn't have this super setting up the cadence and the speed and the gear, then what would happen is the compiler would say, I need to make a new mountain bike, and if this was this constructor existed, it would take 4 arguments, and the constructor for mountain bike would say, well, since I am actually an extension of a bicycle, I need to construct a bicycle object. And so try and construct a bicycle object, but the bicycle would say, I don't have any constructors that take no arguments. Because by default, it's going to use the no argument version of bicycle, which there isn't one. And so the compiler would actually complain right here and say, I can't make a mountain bike because I don't have a bicycle constructor that doesn't take any arguments. So that might be confusing until you understand why it's trying to do that. And the reason it's trying to do that is the bicycle code is what has the logic on how to initialize these values. Now these values are all initialized very easily, right? Or they're just a straight across thing. But what if my constructor actually said, if gear greater than 0, or I mean if start gear, sorry. Then I set that, otherwise I don't, and maybe I have something else, so this isn't perfect, but if I did this, then I'm adding some logic in the bicycle class that controls how I can set up the initial object, right? I can't expect anyone who extends bicycle to just know how to do all that same logic themselves, right? And that actually breaks some of these ideas of cohesion and coupling, but certainly with cohesion, because I'm asking someone else to set me up. As a bicycle, I'm saying I would be expecting someone else to set all my data properly. That doesn't work. So that means the bicycle actually has these 3 methods, or those 3 data members. The bicycle is what's responsible for setting up those data members. That's why when we're a mountain bike, we can't just set them ourselves here. We can't just set speed, gear, and the other one, cadence, equal to these values. We need to pass those values to the bicycle constructor and say, you set these up because you know how to do it. And that's what this does. Super, and then it passes those 3 up. Yeah.
So I just kind of got confused. So you do want it set up, like the code you added would be correct then? Because I don't know, I'm trying to say, like, I can't think of the question. So you're saying that you don't want mountain bike to deal with the setting of the data with that, like the greater than 0. So you want to put it into bicycle rather than resetting it there.
Right.
Okay, I'm just getting it backwards.
So one way to think about this is, one way to think about this is, what class is the owner of the speed data member?
It's a bicycle.
So bicycle is responsible for setting it up.
Okay. I thought you didn't want that passed here.
No,
That's like,
yeah.
that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, so, yeah.
Okay.
I hope I didn't say it that way.
I
But
think
so,
that's a good analogy, because now mountain bike is responsible for what? That height.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Height.
yeah, mountain bike says I'm going to rely on everything from bicycle, and bicycle's going to do the bicycle-y things. I don't care what it is, they're going to do it. I'm adding seat height.
Mhm.
And so there's a lot of, the big benefit here is a lot of reuse, right?
Yeah.
Mountain bike doesn't have to re-implement all of the stuff that the bicycle did at all. You can just rely on it. All right.
Sorry if you've already answered this, but the expensive keyword is new to me. So is this mountainbike.java or bicycle.java?
This file is mountainbike.java.
Oh, way down there. Okay.
Yep. And then the other one was bicycle.java.
Okay.
So when calling super is only called when you're doing it as a constructor for
Yes.
the original class then?
And it has to be the first line in the constructor. I mean, first non-blank line and non-common line. Has to be the first line of code in the constructor. If you have any other line of code there, then it will not work.
So that's just a local variable declaration would cause that to not work.
Right. It needs to be the first code line.
Could I replace the super with bicycle?
Don't think so. Might be able to, but I don't think you can.
It's a lot easier than C++.
All right, let me show you though what happens if I comment this out. I'm going to go back to bicycle and change it the way it was. Okay, so I can compile bicycle. Go to compiles. Now I'm going to compile mountain bike, and I get an error. So notice it says this is why I want to point this out. This is almost confusing. I'm compiling mountain bike, and it tells me constructor bicycle in class bicycle cannot be applied to given types. And at first you're like, wait, I'm not compiling bicycle, I'm compiling mountain bike. Why is it telling me that bicycle is broken? Now, if you kind of break this down a little bit, because you know what the answer is, or I do, and I think you guys do, you can try and see why it's saying that. It's saying what's required, so it's talking about the bicycle constructor. And it says, I'm requiring something that takes 3 ends, int and int. And I didn't find anything. That's still really confusing in my opinion. But the actual formal argument. Jennifer,
So if you have a class that extends another class, then you have to create an object of that type within the constructor.
no, I didn't do that. So in my mountain bike, I did not create a bicycle object. Just calling super like this does not create that object.
I see.
And the extent.
So does it
That's how you get it.
initialize a mountain bike with a bike in it?
Well,
Is that
kind
what
of. I mean, that's the
super
way I
does?
drew this, but that's not entirely true because it is possible to have a mountain bike that does not extend bicycle but has a bicycle as an object inside it. And the picture would look very much the same. What I was trying to show is that mountain bike has 4 fields. 3 of them came from bicycle, 1 of them it added some. The 3 that came from bicycle need to be initialized in the bicycle constructor, which is why I use super to pass the data along. Now, out in the main, when I wanted to create one of these, I don't, I would have mountain bike equals new, and of course I want to put new mountain bike here. I don't want to say something weird like new bicycle plus new mountain bike or anything like that. I just want to say new mountain bike and with a marker that works. And then I